What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Living in Grand Junction, Colorado. Got the new digs here, a lot of fluorescent light around me, kind of takes me back to my college days. But anyway, I digress. Hey, with low inventory and multiple offers still, people are asking a few questions lately. Is there a housing bubble, number one? Number two, are we headed for a repeat of 2006? And number three, can home prices actually keep going up? Well, we're going to tell you all about it. 6 reasons why we feel there's not going to be a housing crash in 2022. And we're going to do it right now. What is going on, everybody? I'm Robert Hayes, and along with my wife Christie, we are the Hayes Home Group right here in Grand Junction, Colorado. Hey, if this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything about what it's like to work, live, play, eat, sleep here in Grand Junction, make sure you hit the subscribe button, tap the bell, that way you're notified every single time we do a new video. And if you're even thinking about moving out this way, look, as much as we love doing these videos, we'd love nothing more than to crush your real estate goals here in Grand Junction. So that number popping up below, give us a phone call, shoot us a text, send us an email, whatever you need to do. We've got your back days, nights, weekends when moving here to Grand Junction. So the housing market, what the heck is it going to do in 2022? A lot of people think, what goes up must come down, right? I think we're all looking for a healthier market, which is typically considered to be about 6 months worth of inventory, but we're still hovering at, 2.5 months, even 1.5 in some price points of inventory. So, what does that mean moving into next year? Well, a couple of chief economic analysts give us their insight as to what they feel the market's going to do next year. The first quote comes from Chief Economic Analyst Logan Motoshimi, and he says this: if you look at the fundamentals behind what's going on in the market, it's hard to say that there is a bubble coming in 2022. There's another Chief Economic Analyst, Doug Duncan from Fannie Mae, and he says this: while the rise in home values is unusual, it's hard to find any argument that says it'll fall apart. And then they go on to list 6 reasons why that's probably not going to be the case going into 2022. There's another analyst before we get into the 6 reasons, Michael Yoon, and Michael Yoon says this: look, home prices, the price to income ratios have returned to levels not seen since 2006, but this situation is much different. He goes on to say this: such a frenzy of activity reminiscent of 2006 raises questions about a bubble and the potential for a potential crash. The answer: there is no comparison. Let me repeat what he said. There is no comparison to 2006. All right, let's get into it. Reason number 1, lending standards remain really strict. If you remember, back in 2006, they had what they called those liar loans, stated income loans, where you basically filled out the application and just put on there what you made for a living, and they said, all right, good to go. They were giving loans to everyone except for basically toddlers back in 14, 15 years ago. Now the lending guidelines are totally different than they were back in 2006. The mortgages are definitely all 30-year fixed or 15-year fixed. Those liar loans are gone, and they actually put attributed a score to what they considered the lending regulations from 100 to 1,000. And that number, as far as how lenient things were 15 years ago, that number was about a 150 out of 1,000 as far as how strict the lending guidelines were. That number today is about 850. So a big difference between what they were doing back in 2006 versus what they're doing today. In fact, a great movie, and gals, it's Brad Pitt and Ryan Gosling, so you might not like the movie, but hey, you got some eye candy. The Big Short. It's a great movie, very entertaining, and from A to Z it goes through the entire catastrophe that was 2006, and that is not prevalent in the market today. So that's reason number 1. Another reason about the lending, as far as credit scores go, over the last couple of quarters, the average credit score for a borrower today is about 786. You can get a loan at 500 credit score 15, 16 years ago. You can't do that today. So that's reason number 1. The lending standards are totally different now than they were back then. All right, let's talk about reason number 2. Mortgage rates remain at historic lows. I mean, you can get a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, depending on the day when we're shooting this video in December, but they waffle between 2 3/4, 3 1/4, right at 3, pick a day, and that's pretty much where you're going to fall as far as a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Now, they do anticipate rates to go up in 2022, but that's not going to be enough to stymie the purchase applications, again, because of the old economic formula of supply and demand. Low inventory, people looking to get into homes, boom, there you go. So that's probably going to lower the refinance applications a little bit, because if you're already at 3.5, why would you refi to 4? That doesn't make any sense. But if you're looking to get into a home, that interest rate increase of 0.5 or even 1% by year end of 2022 just isn't going to be enough to slow down the market in most analysts' opinions. All right, reason number 3, inventory is at a record low. Back in 2006, there were 3.8 million homes listed for sale, and home builders were putting up about 2 million new units. Now inventory is only about 1.5 million homes, and home builders are underproducing relative to historical averages. So when it comes to inventory, again, that simple supply and demand. You guys all experienced this personally, or maybe know someone that did. Think back 2 years ago, toilet paper. Did you see that Facebook feed where people were charging $30 for a 6-pack of toilet paper? People were paying that money because they just didn't know where they were going to get their TP when all this craziness started. So that formula holds true in the housing market. Lower inventory and you got pent up demand. That's going to create an elevation in home prices, and there's just no sign of that slowing down, again, with the underperforming of builders relative to the demand for folks looking to buy a home. So that's reason number 3. All right, the 4th reason why they say there's just not going to be a bubble in 2022, the demographics are changing. So we all, have heard the jokes about the millennials, and they don't really want to do anything, and they're sitting in the basement. Hey, we love you, millennials. We know that's not true. Millennials are making up a huge chunk of the buying market right now. They are young entrepreneurs. They're getting after it, and they too want a part of the American dream. So that section of the population is certainly driving up the home prices all across the country, and including here in Grand Junction. There's also a big Hispanic market that's looking to take advantage of the low interest rates and that opportunity of getting into the American dream. So the folks, the demographics are certainly changing. People that are working remotely, that's certainly a big deal in the last year or two. People are finding out, hey, I don't have to stay in the office here wherever city I'm working in right now. I can go to gorgeous Grand Junction, have a slower pace, have the incredible outdoor lifestyle, do what I'm doing now, just do it right from the house. So that alone is really spurring the activity where people are saying, I don't want to live in this crazy environment that I'm living in now. I want to do what I'm doing now. Employer said it's fine, and I'll go move wherever I want. So that's reason number 4. All right, reason number 5. The foreclosure activity is completely muted. Back in 2006, there were millions of homes, foreclosed homes, that flooded the market, and there wasn't enough absorption of those homes to create a stable market. It just basically took over. Right now, with the equity cushion that everyone has in their property, there aren't any foreclosure. I mean, there's some obviously, but any foreclosure right now that does hit the market, our regular absorption rate just gobbles it right up. And the banks are actually looking for multiple offers on foreclosed homes. That's how minimal the foreclosure activity is. So that's reason number 5 why there's probably not going to be a bubble in 2022. All right, and the 6th reason is builders just cannot keep up with the pent-up demand for folks looking to buy homes. That's millennials, that's remote workers, that's everybody looking to get into the market with all the regulations and the ordinances and all that kind of silly stuff that builders have to go through. There's just no outlook for 2022 for that to create a healthier market, at least not in the short term. So just a ton of reasons. There's 6 right there. A bonus reason, number 7, we're obviously in inflation if you filled up your car lately. And historically, anytime you see inflation, home prices tend to continue to go up because that's a tangible asset, and that's where investors and even home buyers are looking to put their cash into real estate. So if you look back, actually talking about historically, there has been in the last 61 years, there's been 8 recessions. And did you know one of those recessions in 2001, home prices actually went up by 5+%? The other 6 6 of those 8 recessions, home values only went down by single digits. The only other recession where it was double digits was, 2006. So just because you have a historical reference of recessionary periods in real estate doesn't necessarily mean that's going to have any impact whatsoever on home values. So again, I hope that was informative, gives you a little snapshot of what we're thinking 2022 is going to look like. A lot of people were thinking, let's go ahead and let's put things on the back burner and let's wait till the winter time. No one's going to be looking in winter, and you think you're the only one that had that bright idea. Yeah, we're in the midst of winter now, and we've actually had several clients get into properties because we know how to structure an offer. That's important too, but there is still multiple offers we're competing against here in the holiday season in December, in the heart of winter. So we always say the best time to buy is when you're ready to buy a home. Now, I know circumstantially you might have to buy in the spring, you might have to buy in the fall, but if you're waiting on the sidelines, don't wait anymore. Get in while the getting's still good. Get that appreciation still in 2022. But as we always say, as much as we love making these videos, we'd love nothing more than to help you crush your real estate goals here in Grand Junction. So that number popping back up below, reach out, give us a phone call, shoot us a text, send us an email, even send that carrier pigeon, whatever you need to do, because we've got your back days, nights, weekends when moving here to Grand Junction. Until the next video, we'll catch you later.